Hey everybody, hope you guys are all having a good evening or morning wherever you guys are. You guys know when you actually are really tired after a long week of just doing a whole bunch of stuff, and then you fall asleep really early, and then you wake up at midnight ready to take on the world? That's where I am right now. I made myself some nice Earl Grey tea, and I thought I would take some time to go over what the market's doing right now, specifically death crosses, and going over the history of the 50-day moving average crossing above and below the Bitcoin 200 daily moving average. Okay, we're looking for our first death cross that we haven't seen in a very long time, so I want to let you guys know what you could be expecting here: the good, the bad, people freaking out, people getting like, oh my god, it's nothing. We're going to kind of go over all of that today. Okay, so as far as Bitcoin's concerned right now, you guys can see the blue line is the 50-day moving average, the yellow line is the 200 daily moving average, and what you're seeing right now here is we're about to have that death cross sometime in the next week or so. I would say maybe early next week, unless Bitcoin really decides to take a crash sometime this weekend. We're waiting. It's kind of just hovering at support. We've done this many times before. It's very boring to watch until something crashes or breaks. When that happens, everybody goes gung-ho trading, as you guys might imagine. So first of all, I want to go over the history of the death crosses here, because this is that's what's coming up. That's what we have. That's what's going to happen. And there's no way to stop it right now. The Bitcoin will have to shoot up to like $36,000 like today in order to stop that from happening. Okay, so it's not going to happen. So the last time we've actually had this right here was all the way back in January of 2022. Looks like it happened on Thursday the 13th. So, and you can see that led to a very nasty move over a period of months after in a historic bull market, okay? Now, it wasn't like everything went to hell very fast. It took months and months and months, quarters, if you will, before we actually found our bottom due to the FTX crash. There was a lot of factors involved in all this, like Celsius going down, BlockFi going down, all these major institutions within the crypto realm, right? They were all going down hard and fast. Now, what happened in the immediate aftermath, though, I'm saying about like a week to 2 weeks afterwards, we did see a major crash that broke us down to a major Fibonacci level on the grand scheme of a monthly chart here as far as Bitcoin's concerned. So we did have a pretty nasty move, and it did lead to some nasty stuff happening over the next few year, right? After that, we had one right here. This goes back to the height of the bull market as well. This is all the way back here in June of 2021. This one wasn't too bad. This one was kind of helped out by a lot of the stimulus the government was giving out because of all the COVID problems, Fauci shutting down the government and whatnot. It was bad, but it wasn't terrible, okay? We came down right afterwards, so we did see a downward move. We did see a low created over here, so this low was lower than this big old low over here, but not, it wasn't as bad over here. And so it wasn't terrible. Going back over here a little bit further, this one is the one I don't really care about the most, but we still need to talk about it. Of course, this one right here was caused because of a COVID crash, I guess you could call it, where the whole world was freaking out. Everybody was shutting down the stores, the businesses under mandates and stuff like that. We saw people selling off their assets because nobody knew what was going to happen. They didn't want to play around and find out, right? And so a lot of this move down here just caused a little bit of a lagging indicator to have that cross back over. And you can see right here, historically, this is more of what we're looking at as far as Bitcoin's concerned. You can even see this massive spike, but the death cross always wins out. That's something that usually happens. I'm not saying it's going to be some historic crash, even though, probably doesn't look as good. But historically, these death crosses are not good things for Bitcoin. Going back over here a little bit further, all the way back over here to March of 2018. That's a while ago now. Time has been flying by these past few years. And boom, we came all the way back down, had a crash, and you can see right afterwards we had a small dip, but not too much, but historically it just ended up being a bad time. One of the patterns you guys are going to notice about this, and we have another one right here. This one's interesting because this was actually a stock market thing that caused Bitcoin to crash. There was a flash crash by algorithm trading in 2015. I have the story open up for you guys right here. What happened during the August 24th flash crash? It freaked everybody out. And that's pretty much the story of what happened here. A few different things across different sectors and stuff. China stuff was going on, as you imagine, as well. But that was another lagging indicator right here. Now, what I was going to tell you guys about a few seconds ago is a lot of times when we're seeing stuff like this, and you can see this one right here, came down a little bit more, eventually came back down. Kind of a weird one. We actually had a false golden cross right here that ended up just making us come back down even more after the next death cross here, right? And then of course, you know, you go back all the way to historically, like when Bitcoin was like $5-6, another death cross didn't help out as well here. But what I want you guys to understand from this, it seems like there's two types of death crosses here on the Bitcoin charts, okay? There's ones where it's after we reach an all-time high and then everything crashes pretty much afterwards. So you can see that here, all-time high here, didn't crash, stimulus money, I'll grant that there. Not after all-time highs here, not after all-time highs, okay? But still came down pretty heavily. Over here, all-time highs, came down and had the crash, and so forth here, okay? All-time highs, came down, crash, still went down to all these lows, even though we had that false signal right there, okay? Now, as we kind of pull back on this, we're not reaching anything close to all-time highs. So even if we have this death cross, I'm not necessarily expecting Bitcoin to make its way all the way back down here. Let me just add a horizontal line. You know, back down to the support levels around 16,000. I don't think that's really what we're looking for. I think as a worst case scenario for this, you can see we have this current level of support right around here, where it kind of matches up with this resistance up here, resistance around here, a little bit of resistance and support over here and here. I think worst thing, you know, that could come of this is maybe we find a way as low as 20,000, 19,670. And then from there, I think it's mostly going to be some type of higher low situation where we have like this, and then we keep on going up higher. Or, you know, maybe we make a double bottom. We have a bottom here, and then we find that bounce of support. I don't think we're necessarily going to get all the way back down to like 19,625. It's just, I don't think we're going to really do that based off of the economy being where it's at. If the economy does go into recession, like I feel later on in the year, maybe, or excuse me, next year, maybe that's something that could happen if we manage to break down below the 19,800. But as far as what I'm seeing right now, most of the time that we have these types of death crosses here, it's not a good thing. That's the overall arching theme here. But as you guys can see, just as kind of go back historically a little bit faster this time, golden crosses on the other hand have been very good for Bitcoin, right? Golden cross right here, boom. I mean, you could already see how good that golden cross was. I mean, that was just a monstrous one. All right, golden cross right here, not good. I don't think we would have had this golden cross if it wasn't for COVID, so I would think of this being the somewhat same golden cross that kind of led that off. Golden cross here, very good move. And of course the golden cross here, very good move. Again, flash crash, so you might as well kind of lump those two together. This one, failure, massive failure. But honestly, what were you going to expect here? Because the market really hadn't come back down as much as you would need it to. Historically, Bitcoin needs to come down a lot. It came down 73%. That's not enough for Bitcoin. Historically, it comes down like 80%, so plus. So, you know, we're not there yet as far as this one was concerned. But there are still some failures here, so I want you guys to understand that for both the death crosses and the golden crosses. So golden cross right here came back down a little bit, but look at that. Didn't have a death cross afterwards, and then we started going up to some nice highs. So historically, this is going to be a bad sign for Bitcoin. I wish I had better news on this, but I want you guys just to take a quick peek at this. Let me actually go over here to one of the other ones. There we go. Here are all the death crosses we really have to look forward to. All right, so here's the death cross coming up. It's most likely going to push us back down to a level of support below $24,000, $22,000, kind of around that range. Historically, they have not been good. Not been good. I mean, all you gotta do is go back in time. The COVID one, it's a lagging one, so probably doesn't really matter to us all too much, but it's important. You can see right here, an older one from 2019, not good. So you can see everything kind of at a historical pace. Nothing really ever good has ever come from a death cross of this magnitude. So as you guys see what happens over the next few weeks, let's hope that we can have some type of seismic news that can somewhat mitigate the downward pressure that's going to kind of come upon us or come upon Bitcoin here. And I say this not just because I'm an adamant holder of Bitcoin and I like to dollar cost average and things of that nature, but altcoins during this time period usually don't do very well. And something that we've been talking about for the past few months here is that even though Bitcoin has been growing and getting higher and higher and higher, and I could even actually show you guys this right here, while Bitcoin's been going up over the past few months, all the way since, December of 2022, really since the beginning of the year, January, we've kind of seen other tokens and coins really not do as well. So, Dogecoin has been very strong. It's been managing to hold steady here for a very long time. It's at this massive support level right now. It's doing okay, not terrible, but just okay. Meanwhile, we have things like Ape Token that are really not finding support levels, and they just keep on finding a way to go lower and lower and lower. Even as Bitcoin holds this current support, as you guys can see, it's not holding that same support level. It's being sold off very bigly, so to speak. We go over here to ADA. ADA is not holding up over the past few months. No, it's not doing well at all. And let me go over here to show you where 2020 January started off with. It's not doing good at all. And you can go down the list. There's a lot of tokens here that had really good runs, but all of a sudden they're back down. Like, this is January, beginning of the year. Well, guess what? We're lower than where we started. We're actually negative on the year for a lot of these tokens. And you can see we're at this major level of support again. So if Bitcoin breaks down, it'll just go back closer to where we were looking at it at the beginning of the year, which isn't terrible, right? It's not coming all the way back down to the lows of 16,000 or anything like that. So you're going to see these altcoins break down here, go back below those January lows or January prices, like over here. And you're going to see it come closer to those levels that we saw back when everything was really crashing and Bitcoin was really coming back down with June of 2022, which is a long time ago now, but you can see how bad things were. And so for Matic, that means going from 56 cents, maybe back down to 41 cents, 42 cents, which is a pretty huge drop. So altcoin lovers out there like myself, that's a 25% drop. Just be prepared for some volatility in your accounts. I will usually use these as buying opportunities. However, just because I buy it doesn't mean I expect the market to rebound over the next few weeks and go straight back up, okay? Usually it's going to take some time, and then you can find an adequate place to sell. Or if you're just looking for long-term holds, it'll help you out just to be able to buy it 40 cents instead of having to buy it 56 cents. That's a 25% discount. Take it. But everything has been coming down quite a bit. Look at that. ICP continuing to come down. KDA coming down. I mean, there's no support levels for a lot of these tokens here, guys. So just want to let you guys know, just be prepared for this. Don't freak out if a large move on the downside comes. Just understand it's going to be a good buying opportunity. But personally, I would rather you guys pay attention to what's going to happen to the altcoins during that time, because they've been having so much trouble finding their support. And I think because they've been coming down so hard, I think if Bitcoin comes back down, I think altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin over the next quarter and a half, as altcoins tend to build themselves back up, while Bitcoin maybe is at a little bit of a stagnation level, trying to make that higher low situation that we talked about earlier, okay? Have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. Hey guys, before we dive into the strategy, I've got something special for all you crypto enthusiasts out there. Today's video is sponsored by TapBit, a global cryptocurrency exchange that's been blowing up recently as Binance has been going downhill. Ever hunted for a specific token and just couldn't find it on other exchanges? Well, TapBit has got you covered. They feature hundreds of tokens for you to buy, trade, and explore. But what really sets TapBit apart? Speed and reliability. We're talking hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. So when you decide to sell, you can be confident you're getting the exact price you see on the screen. No surprises. And for my awesome viewers, TapBit is offering something you won't want to miss. Use my link in the description below and you'll get a whopping 10% back on your trades. Yep, you heard right, 10% back. So why wait? Head over to tapbit.com and make your crypto trading experience a smooth one.